It's been a busy year for Respawn Entertainment. In February, the studio took a left turn. It announced and simultaneously released Apex Legends, a free-to-play battle royale taking place in the Titanfall universe. Except, it didn't have Titans. Despite the franchise's critical acclaim, Respawn was veering away from the mech-centric combat it had built its reputation on. And yet, Apex Legends was a smash hit. Within 1 month, it had accrued 50 million total installs. It also met with widespread adoration. Despite drawing many fans' ire with a lack of Titanfall 3 news, the studio had, for all intents and purposes, stepped outside of its mech-filled bubble. Of course, the team's work was not done. As a new entry in the growing games-as-service pantheon, Apex's launch has required weekly maintenance, ranging from weapon nerfs to anti-cheating efforts to brand new characters. What's more, despite a rough first season, Respawn has turned things around in the following 2. It's garnered devoted players' trust and seeded optimism for Season 4. But for all of its momentum leading into 2019's latter half, Respawn still had its biggest challenge ahead of it: releasing a game set within the hallowed Star Wars universe. Star Wars Jedi: Fallen Order joins one of the longest and rockiest ancestries of video games. Titles such as Knights of the Old Republic and TIE Fighter are in the realm of bona fide classics, but low points, and I mean low points, have graced us with stinkers such as Force Commander, Yoda Stories, Lightsaber Duels, and Masters of Teräs Käsi. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it does not matter because that game sucked. Suffice it to say, any upcoming Star Wars game usually requires a bit of cautious optimism. Compounding this is the fact that Respawn is also leaving what I imagine to be its genre comfort zone. Its original members made no attempt to hide that they were founding a shooter studio in 2012, and each of its 3 releases have reinforced that notion. With Fallen Order, the company has made its way into uncharted territory, and it is quite a lot of new ground. Not only has it shifted to a third-person perspective, it's also introduced Soulsborne progression elements and Metroidvania level design. A more risk-averse studio might have stuck to its guns and just transplanted a proven formula into the Star Wars world, and I'm sure it would have been fine. But Respawn is no amateur developer, and despite the risks involved, Jedi: Fallen Order is no average Star Wars game. It only released 2 days ago, and Fallen Order, dear viewer, has already become one of my favorite Star Wars entries to date. It's definitely rough around the edges, at least at launch, and its blend of platforming, backtracking, and deliberate combat don't always mesh completely. But it is a superbly paced adventure with a vivid cast of characters. Even talking about it now, I already want to replay it. That's not what this video is about, though. My coworker Phil has gone much more in-depth in our official review and outlined his own thoughts on the newest installment in the Star Wars canon. You should read it as soon as you finish giving me your undivided attention. Seriously, do not leave. You will fuck up the YouTube algorithm and my boss might get mad. Please stay. Anyway, to me, Fallen Order is a statement. It's Respawn saying, yeah, we know Titanfall 2 is fucking sick, but we have other ambitions to consider. We want to branch into new areas. We want to prove ourselves beyond the shooter genre, even while our last release continues to attract more and more players every month. It's not a big deal, but yeah, we know we're fucking killing it. Anyway, to boil it down for all of you list jockeys out there, Respawn's new release proves, to me, 3 things. 1. The studio is not a one-trick pony. Yes, the argument could be made that Apex Legends already did this, considering that it ditched Titanfall's relatively traditional structure for that of an ongoing battle royale, but Fallen Order emphasizes this adaptability even more. It borrows from genres completely new to Respawn as a group, and the results speak for themselves. Respawn is slowly joining the ranks of teams such as Blizzard, Insomniac, and the grossly overlooked Image and Form as a studio that is tough to pin down. Statement part number 2. Respawn can hang in the big leagues. I don't think it's controversial to say that Star Wars is the single greatest American contribution to pop culture, ever. It's Americana incarnate, and corporations have spent years wringing every possible opportunity out of that galaxy far, far away. For Respawn to come along with its Star Wars debut and outshine some major franchise projects is proof that it can handle the pressure of colossal corporations and still deliver when the time comes. And that brings me to my last point. Despite the risks involved, despite handling a precious global property, and despite leaving the genre it knows so well, statement part 3 is that Respawn understands its identity. If you look hard enough, my friend, you can see that Respawn DNA all throughout Fallen Order. The team's focus on movement, momentum, and slick mechanics permeate almost every aspect of Cal Kestis' journey. Its blend of platforming and environmental puzzles recall the fantastic campaign of Titanfall 2. Even Fallen Order's story itself, as Phil points out in his review, gains more and more momentum as it progresses. Which is all to say that Respawn understands its strengths. It's experimenting, yes, but it understands how that semi-intangible Respawn flow can elevate a game above its genre. And in this regard, I'm extremely happy it remembered its roots. So have at it, Respawn. Bring on the turn-based strategy. Pump out those RPGs. Give me every fucking dating simulator your collective hearts desire. Make a social strand game for all I care. Chances are you will nail it, and chances are I will thoroughly enjoy it. So here's to whatever's next.